Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back into another happy, fun, enjoyable day here at the Community Dope Live. You're watching us right now on Stocktwits and wherever this stream may take you. It's your boy Bags. I'm also a scientist, by the way. We got our friend LexTrading with us today. Kev, what's up, brother?
Good. What's going on, everybody?
Of course, we've got Just Fucking Do It, Nick over there in the corner, and Gpaisa, Gautam, our main wet, soggy blanket every single episode. We love him so much. I'm just teasing. The Knicks got to lose at some point, GP. So, they're gonna meet their match here. I know you've been supporting the Knicks the whole run that they've been having, but I want to talk about something else since I've got everybody here. We had a little market pump today, right? And we're trading back down. That's kind of been the way things have gone, Nick. But I think that I think that after yesterday's show, you guys might have talked the bullishness back into me a little bit, maybe.
I mean, we got to push up and out of here. We're still holding that, November low. It's not, the prettiest. We're below the 200-day. We're all the short-term moving averages are pointed down and curling down, but we spend a little bit more time here potentially, and then get a nice gap above those moving averages. I think it could lead to a pretty quick push back to highs. That's pending we don't, roll over.
I was really hoping you was going to bring up the 200-day right off the bat, and apologies for this messy chart. But, the 200-day is like sacrosanct to so many people. Lex,
I think,
how much conviction do you take in being above or under the 200-day?
Well, right now we're just kind of hovering right below it. So I'm also, I think, like you guys, just watching it really closely. We are above this 653, 54 pivot that Nick just mentioned in November. So I'm still holding out hope that we can get a bounce here maybe soon.
GP?
Not to interject real quick, but I think it should be to be expected that it's going to be a little bit of a messy price action around the 200-day. I don't think it's not very common that you're going to see a 200-day tap and go, kind of V off of it. I don't think, but I don't know. Someone who could probably back test that and figure that out. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, GP, or cutting. Are you on mute?
GP?
No.
You have nothing to say about the 200-day and its significant.
I don't give two damns about a 200-day.
Yeah, my man.
The only two people. There's only two people who care about the 200-day right now is
the slope and direction of it is what matters.
Option sellers and put buyers, right? Put buyers are in a conversation with the 200-day saying, "Oh, it's rejecting. Let me buy puts. Let me." Call sellers are doing everything in their power to stop the 200-day from being reclaimed, but forget what's going on with the moving averages, because ultimately,
for sure,
short terms might be moving down. Your 200-day is in what trend? Is it flat? Is it down? Or is it up?
Still up.
Is it up slightly, or is it up? Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
It's a nice slope. It's not it's a nice. I don't think none of us here are debating whether or not we're in an uptrend. I don't think.
I mean,
right?
I think maybe we should be looking at maybe the 50 weekly then.
Okay.
Long direction.
Yeah, that looks. I mean, we're sitting right there on it.
Yeah, we're sitting right on the 50 weekly, and if you look at any pullback, go back a couple of years, always retest the 50, hover around there for a little bit and maybe bounce out. So I think, that's what it's trying to do right now. It's trying to figure out direction around the 50 weekly.
I love that, Lex. That's the best take of the day so far.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know I'm a long-term guy, and you guys talk a lot of trading. I talk a lot of long term. So I'm glad to have Lex on because we can talk some more long term things. And not to dig up old dirt or anything, but some old things, some long things like United Health. What's going on here? We've already hit the GP 220 mark. No, not quite yet.
No,
I haven't even opened up UNH.
It's just price.
Oh
action,
man,
right?
it looks rough. Holy shit!
This is not a conviction.
I think at this point we can expect that it's going to retest the 250.
It's going to go lower.
Easily. It's going back to 200 for sure.
First, just to set the stage, for those that don't know inside baseball, the four of us had, well, I should say Lex and GP had a long conversation about several stocks in October. United Health was one of them. And Kev, you still in UNH? You still buying? You still fully committed?
I'm just holding.
But you'll buy lower still, is my point.
I think if it retests the 250, I'll see what it does. At 200, I might add more if it goes all the way down there to the COVID lows, then I would. But right now, I'm just watching it.
It's hard, man.
It is.
It's hard to watch something that you have conviction in terms.
All of the healthcare has been rough. Like nothing has gone wrong, right since all those tickers that we're talking about that night over dinner. UNH, HIMS, everything has been flushed.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought up HIMS. I mean, this was actually when we were having dinner right here. Like that was actually dinner.
Motherfucker topped out.
That was fucking dinner.
Yeah. I think GP was long on that at that point. He liked it. I liked UNH. Both didn't turn out really good.
But go ahead, GP.
So, in terms of UNH, it was never when we had this discussion, right? It was a heated debate and all that other stuff. First time meeting Lex, so it was probably more heated than it needed to be. But ultimately, the question I asked him, which is when the debate actually ended, was if it goes lower, are you willing to buy more? And his answer was yes, right? So
yeah,
on UNH.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh.
That's when the actual debate ended, right? We debated for hours and days, and then when I asked him that question, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Because my point was, what was it, at 320 or whatever it was then? These technical setups are the same across the board, right? They come back and they retest, undercut, and then they begin to base and establish stuff.
Yeah, we were right here. And in fairness to Kev, right? Like he was buying shares over here, right, Kev?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was up here when we were talking. So there's where it was right there.
Yeah, and my whole thought is, my whole conversation at that time was, please take profits, right? Like you're going to get an opportunity to buy lower. And you don't know that when it's in the middle of things, obviously, but the markets overall are technical, right? And HIM's same conversation. It's basically back to where I bought, right? Like it sucks that it's back to where I bought, but it basically retested the entire range. And so it's like the breakouts, the first breakouts are always miserable. It's the second ones where the buyers step in, the conviction longs, the ones who say, okay, enough is enough. It's time to go. And that doesn't mean it goes right away, right? When it breaks, Tesla is a good example. HIMS is a great example. UNH. You can go across the board. Look at Boeing, right? It takes a really, really long
goddamn
time
Boeing
technically, because these are multi-month, multi-quarter downtrends, right? Like this is not a quick V out. This is a fundamental. We've talked about this a bunch of times, Ben. When it's fundamental, the repair takes a really long time, and management needs to prove it. It's not going to happen in a quick shot. The first quick shot will be the profit takers, the ones who are buying the dip, like Lex bought the dip. Everyone bought the dip, but those guys are now up 50, 60, 70%, and it starts to falter. Those guys become sellers, and Lex is going to buy more, but I'm pretty sure most people, when it breaks 250 in hopefully the next couple of weeks, those guys become power to the downside, right? That it's your additional sellers. So like, where did the sellers come from? The ones who are hoping out that 250 holds.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing in like, it's in HIMS, it's in
Tesla.
even Tesla, right? Like Tesla, last year when so like I got in around under 200 and 220, I think, for most of my shares. So yes, it's frustrating, but I'm okay, right? Ultimately, that it's not going out. A lot of calls expired worthless, so that's Tesla for you. It's a lifetime story, but yeah, these are just technical retests. It's the same thing with Novo Nordisk, right? We like the abuser became the partner in HIMS, and neither one can find.
Yeah, what the
Like,
fuck? They're
it's
both
Stockholm
like
syndrome, right? They for
considering the IBB.
Yeah, I need Kev to lay this one on me. He's much better about what's going on with Novo Nordisk and everything, and I just think it's I don't know, coincidental and weird, I guess, that all of a sudden you're frenemies with who you had the lawsuit with. But
Yeah, I think at this point, when they're when up against a challenge like Eli Lilly, who's winning the GLP-1 market share more and more, you make frenemies, and that's what it is. But I'm actually quite surprised, like given these multiple revisions in their guidance, that Lilly is not going up even higher. He's actually come back down from quite a bit from that news. So yes, they are taking market share, but it's not being reflected in the stock. It's actually coming back down. It looks like it's coming back down to retest this bull flag that it broke out of.
Eli
Right
Lilly.
what you have there in the middle, Ben.
I like it a lot right here.
I think right there, if you extend that yellow line, you have it, bounce off that and doesn't fall down any further. I think that's a good setup to get in for new highs.
What if I told you Eli Lilly's going to 400?
I mean, that wouldn't, I
would say thank you, Wet Blanket. Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
I wouldn't say 400, but I like if you told me like 650, I wouldn't I'd be like, yeah, maybe. I mean, technically, like if you look at the monthly, we basically put in a breakout failure. Right?
Yeah.
Like we broke out above 985, couldn't hold it. Now we're back within the range, so like we could very easily go back to like 620, 630. But you go down to the weekly, and price is basically sitting on the 200-day, the 40-week. It's above the 0.5. I don't know. I think it looks good. Whether or not it works.
Well,
or not, I guess we'll
it's
see.
like so many names in the market, right? Like, look where it's at. It's on the weekly 50. It's in a prove me moment, like so many names. And we can go through a list all day if we want to, but we don't have enough show for that. So I'm not saying that this is good or bad. I'm basically saying what I've been saying for the last, I don't know, month and a half is I'm just going to continue to accumulate the bottom of ranges. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, then I have a pretty clear place to cut my losses.
I think there's just so much pessimism now baked into Novo Nordisk. It still has 40% of the GLP-1 market share, and it's trading below pandemic, lows and 2008, crash. If you want to talk about valuation, this thing is just in the gutters.
Yeah.
Do me a favor on Novo Norton. It's not NOV, it's NVO.
Oh, I did the wrong one. Sorry.
So
same chart, but go ahead.
Go to quarterly.
Oh, this guy's wanting quarterlies today.
No, it's an identification of how many quarters in a row have we broken the prior quarter lows, right? Like, you have potential capitulation happening here with that volume size, right?
This is just the third quarter.
Yeah. Right? Like we are in, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 8 straight quarters of red.
Yep.
And continuing to break lower after the first break lower. like
Yeah.
valuations aside, technically it's so broken that it needs to stop being broken before you can take some position here, in my opinion. Otherwise, you don't know where the bottom is, right? Like you can get another quarter that's going straight down that breaks, right? You can get monster stuff. This is a knife catcher's dream, right? So to speak,
Or nightmare.
or a nightmare. And
Yeah.
so as they all the people who bought what back in July of last year, right? That capitulation bar at that time was like, oh my god, it can't go any lower. Oh, it went lower.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so you're having capitulation here, but you're not having price to represent it. And so going back to outside of Nvidia, Novo Nordisk, to go back to Eli Lilly, and honestly, it's happening in the memory names too right now. The good news is not reacting price, right? So a key thing to remember is when price doesn't represent your bullish actions, there's something you're missing that the market hasn't shown you yet. Ultimately, sometimes they misprice it, but normally they're forecasting it for you. That if you can't go higher as the news gets better and better, the general trajectory is lower. And what we've seen with a lot of these names, if you're looking at Eli Lilly, is this massive base breaks out, everyone gets bullish, and then just craps itself, right? Like it's gone nowhere for how many months now? 3-4 months, and the
Lily?
resolutions to the downside. You have all the like this is they let the moving averages go from rising up straight up to flattening out to now declining, and so technically this starts to push lower, which is why like I wouldn't be catching a knife here on Eli Lilly versus the 50.
I mean,
Even though the
Ben,
50
just scroll back to like 2020. I mean, Eli Lilly has a habit since 2020 has a habit of retesting the 50 weekly, for the last 6 years,
Yep.
right? So this could be another test at the 50 weekly before it goes up. Like we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few undercuts and goes since 2019, right? I'm going to call 2019 the beginning of the trend because it stayed under the 50 for quite a bit. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I mean, I guess you could say most of 2025 went against that trend too, but it's turned up now, so. It does have a good history of either undercutting and coming back above or touching that 50 and making a spot. So, yeah, Kev, there's totally a case for that.
I'll see you at 400.
Are you in Lily too or just Novo?
No,
Like,
I'm purely between the two. I was only in Novo because of the valuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same plan as UNH, right? You're still going to just keep going at it until it turns?
Yeah.
Or do you have less conviction
UNH.
here?
I'm still holding Evolens, which is the number two insurer in America. So together those two kind of form a duopoly. They own the entire healthcare chain. If you think about insurance, PBMs, pharmacy, and now they're buying up a lot of doctors groups. So throughout your entire journey, in the healthcare system, you're going to have to interact with UNH and Evolens, one way or the other.
It's inevitable.
And I think until that structure breaks, it's hard for me to sell when it's so low. I'd rather just hold it and see what happens, especially if the Democrats come to power, comes in November, and they want to, do a healthcare deal.
Well, it's position sizing too, right?
Right.
So I'm assuming that you have your own guardrails on what risk you're willing to take and what you're willing to bury into it. It's just not a bottomless pit that you're willing to throw everything into, right?
No. I think 250 right now still looks like a stronghold. There's a big there's a lot of volume there. If you just look at the volume profile, That's pretty strong. So as long as 250 stays, I'm gonna say I'm gonna be comfortable holding it.
And GP will never let his Tesla shares go either. So I completely get it. But are you ready to buy some more Tesla yet, GP?
No, I was actually. It's funny that you said that. I was actually just talking to my brother about Tesla in general, and like actually looking to sell. Right. It's just like, so when I went long in 2019, it was one of the biggest. Sorry, 2014, and then again in 2019 because it was at the same point. It was one of the biggest no-brainers. It was a $34 billion market cap, and their revenue was at 24 billion. Like, to me, they execute, this goes nuts, right? That was just very, very clear. And the delivery timelines were better, right? They introduced the Model 3, 16 months later, it was delivered. Model Y, I think it was like 14 months later. We've been talking about the Cybercab now 2 years. It's a $25,000 or $30,000 car. Robo taxi for how many years? Like, it's just the execution, and execution isn't there for Tesla in general. And you can see that in Elon's distractions. You can say that he wasn't distracted in 2019. It was Tesla, SpaceX too, but
you're just, I mean, did I all of a sudden, did my mental possess you all of a sudden? Like, what is going on here? You're basically reading my case of why I hate the stock for the last 3 years.
Yeah, so like, you can hate it. I'm still up 100%
Yeah, of course.
on shares that I bought 2 years ago. So it's not like I'm doing badly, but ultimately it's like, you can see Elon's distractions. It was politics, it was Grok, it was everything else, and Tesla was still executing to a point. And now he's too, like, dude, it's a car that has no steering wheel. It should take less time to produce, or no side view mirrors, right? Like, just get it done and get it over with. But you're like, there's only 24 hours in a day, and now his insane pump with SpaceX that's going on now. He bought shares just to make sure that he gets his pay package. So that's the only thing that's kind of sitting with me in terms of conviction.
Who's buying? Who do you think is going to buy these cars without a steering wheel?
What's that?
Who do you think is going to buy these cars without a steering wheel?
People who want to make money, right? Like,
that's a huge investment, right?
It's a business, right? Like, you go buy.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially saying that, everyone's gonna want to start their own little cab business.
Yeah, but if it's an easy barrier to entry, right? It's easier than starting a TLC. Then it needs a lot of regulatory approval. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying there's a lot of people who are willing to put the money to work because they're going to get 75% of the profit sharing. People buy Subways when they were oversaturated on the market for $350,000 to build out Subways, right? And look what happened to Subway over time. So franchise.
That's just an interesting take. I thought you might have said, like, Uber or Lyft or something, just eliminate the drivers and just buy these cars.
Well, Uber is buying some Rivians, so there's that.
This stock is a retail favorite. Retail is what's gonna, in my opinion, drive it higher over time, right? And a lot of the intraday, a lot of intra-year stuff is all institutional crap, but it's the conviction longs that you can call them fanboys, whatever it is, the conviction longs on Tesla that have driven it higher. Dude, I'd buy a couple of robo-taxis at $30,000 a piece and put them out there if the barrier to not getting sued is easier, and it can generate you. If I can buy 3 robo taxis for $30,000 each at $90,000, and it can generate $25,000 to $30,000 a year, I'm good. ROI on a business in 3 years, it's flat, and then going from there even higher, even great. But there's a lot of execution that needs to happen until that happens.
Well, it's notorious over promise and deliver whenever I get around to it. I mean, that's the track record.
As a small business, if you can get your money back after 3 years, it's a pretty good small business.
No, I'm not talking about a small business. I'm just talking about everything that has happened with Tesla since the beginning of time. It's over promise. It's going to happen sometime this year, sometime next year, and then it happens 5, 9, however many years down the road. Nick, do you still like the chart? Do you still like Tesla? Are you interested here at the 50-week?
I mean, I'm always going to want to try and, I don't know, be in it for one reason or the other. Because I just, I'm a believer. But it's I don't know. It just feels like fucking dead money to me. Sure.
Wow.
You could. But I mean,
my 2 perma bulls are less than bullish on Tesla today.
Well, I mean, just look at it. It's below the 200 day.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with the look of it. I'm just saying, for as long as the 3 of us have been together, one of you 2 have held the rallying cry for I'm buying more Tesla at some point. And that's not the case today.
Dude, when we talked last February about Tesla, like if it breaks 360, it's going back to 214, right? Like I'll be pragmatic about price when it comes to stuff. Doesn't mean it changes the long-term opinion. Like I think the best conviction that longs have right now is Musk was dedicated enough to buy $1 billion worth of shares to make sure his pay package, where he becomes a gazillion trillionaire, comes through. That is as bullish as you can be in a stock for the long term, right? My conviction is it's just delays. And so this started last week when he said April 1st is going to be the Roadster debut, right? And then all of a sudden last week he starts going, oh, hopefully April, right? Like it just keeps.
It's par for the course. That's what I'm saying. It's par for the course.
Grok or XAI or everything else, then these things start to materialize faster, right? So you just gotta. It's a case of price speaking a little bit, but also just seeing some of the execution stuff that did not happen in 2018 and 2019.
On your behalf of what you're thinking of right now, GP, I think it's a valid idea of exactly how I was viewing Cloudflare, right? When I sold Cloudflare, is there a better, faster horse that I can get on? I still like the company. I still believe in it, but ultimately, are there other things that might be more worthwhile? And we don't know what 3, 5, 10 years down the road looks like, but swapping out my Cloudflare, which was a smaller position, to hop in CoreWeave at 72 and Black Sky at 24 is paying off bigly more than what Cloudflare is doing. So is that how you're thinking about you're going to deploy somewhere else?
No, I haven't sold anything. It was just it's a passing thought for the moment. Price starts to break down. It hasn't broken down ultimately. I don't think it's broken down. Has it been crappy? Yeah. Tesla has 50 to 60% drawdowns every single year. And we're only at 20%, 25%. Hey, it's a victory, right? So like we've seen this over as long-term Tesla shareholders. If you don't have a 30% drawdown every year, you're shocked, right? You're amazed. You're like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And then like end of December will come and it'll lose 30%. So I'm
going to switch gears on you, GP. I want to talk about CoreWeave, but we got a comment about Microsoft, and we went in on Microsoft quite a bit yesterday. But Kev, what's your thought on Microsoft? Obviously, we've got these 2 giant bear flags that have broken down on this chart. Yeah. Being a long-term guy, this might be a name that you're interested in, or no?
Damn, I've been actively buying since like 400, and I actually just bought some yesterday. So if you zoom out,
I know my guy.
Yeah, go zoom out. there's a pivot around like 350. Oh, you got it right there. We're getting really close.
He acts like he's surprised I've got the pivot on there.
Yeah, we're getting really close. We're still sitting around the 200 on the weekly moving average. That has historically been a strong support. We're just a tad bit underneath it. I think this is an area where you start accumulating, especially with these cloud names where its cloud unit still growing nearly 50%, right? And with all these AI agents, everyone's going to be running on a lot of tokens. You're going to need these infrastructures, and people are going to be willing to pay up. So I think this is a great name, long term to be accumulating around here. So I'm not bothered by these like bear flags on the daily time frame. I'm looking at the long term, and it's coming down to a really strong support, I think.
I was like, where did my shit talking go on the chart? There it is. Yeah, this is the weekly chart, but I don't disagree with you, Lex. I'm guessing around 350 is where you'll put in another tranche of buys if it were to get there.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty solid support resistance zone. My take yesterday, my take last week too, was a lot of the cream got taken off the top of Microsoft because of their messy relationship with OpenAI right now. Right. And I think a lot of it was a lot of AI exuberance. And now it's kind of like, well, the emperor has no clothes, even though he's still the emperor, right? And I mean, it's hard to get away from the Microsoft in the enterprise. It's just hard to do. I know Azure is definitely gaining market share, but AWS is still the champ there. So there's I can see about somewhere in this area. Do I think it'll be sustained? I don't know. I'd like to see it, but ultimately, whatever Microsoft's going to do is going to lead the IGV, which I do care a lot about.
So the question I asked yesterday, and the question I just asked in the chat right now, is what happens if Microsoft breaks and sustains under the 50-month, which is where exactly it's sitting right now. It would be the first time since 2000, and in 2000 it went sideways to 2015.
That's a good call out, GP.
Right. So, like, what's the plan here, right? If I'm not saying it's going to happen, I believe Microsoft will rally and it'll be fine. But the question is, like, for me, if it doesn't, I'm out, right? Like I bought it around this area too. I'll take the 5 to 7% hit and be out. I'm not going to sit here and wait for 13 years or 14 years.
Yeah, that's 13 years of pain.
Right. So that's the only question I will ask to anyone who's buying the dip on Microsoft is, like, what happens if we do break this? This is a meaningful technical break. And if Microsoft breaks this, the market breaks down, right? Like, that's my opinion.
Hey, Nick, when you see something like this happen, and I'm specifically meaning to a moving average or a support level that has held for the better part of 15 years, and it breaks, do you revert to looking at this action as a possibility, or do you just see this as a complete change of character in some form? Or am I just misreading however you would look at this?
I guess the way that I would be the way that I am looking at Microsoft is that this move above 475, like if you're looking at the monthly, the move from 475 to, let's just say, 550 was essentially like a false breakout on this on the large time frame. And so once we dipped back below that 460 to 465, it made sense that we're at where we're at, basically retesting the low of this range. Being that the breakout failed, yeah, I think you could be looking at like this low getting taken out, maybe testing and holding that, I don't know, 310 to like 320. It's a little bit more, it's not as pretty as of a base as what you're referencing back from, like the 90s to, it's kind of like the start of its run in what, 2013,
More like
2014.
somewhere down there at that pink line.
What's that?
You're saying 310, 320.
I
so
think
closer to this pink
that
line.
that's going to act as a magnet if this low doesn't hold literally where we're sitting right now. And honestly, once we kind of take out this low, we're in kind of a no man's land pocket between 215 and 350. Like that's the next range that we're in. I'm not saying that I think we're going to go after 200, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me either. Just being that, again, price is back within that range. Why we would do that, I'm not gonna say. I don't fucking know.
Major
really care either.
repair if that's the case, right? I mean, that
Well,
would
for
be
sure, but
Microsoft down nearly 60% from the highs.
I'm just you get something like that happen though, you're probably throwing a massive amount of darts versus that 200, and what you're hoping is it kind of builds out a monster kind of cup, and that would be the left side of the base kind of back at 19. Like if you're looking back at your prior base, from the 99 highs, that's what would be forming right now. Like that type of like, I don't know, 50. Yeah, it's a 50%, haircut. You get kind of the same thing from.
Yeah, maybe not a cup, maybe more like a frying pan in some essence, right? Like it's long and wide as opposed to deep and shorter.
Yeah, I mean, again, and then too, like looking at Microsoft, it's just kind of like, I don't have an edge here. My setup's not here. There's better setups elsewhere. Even within like the mag names, there's better looking setups. So
75% does not sound appealing to me. From here, if it came down into that 220 area, that's almost 40%. That would be wow, Kev.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, we're not even there at the April lows yet, right? And when you guys are talking about going like maybe another 50% from the April lows, like
we're just looking at the largest time frame, though. It's not like we're narrowing it down.
But if you guys are comparing it back to the early 2000s, I mean, the business has completely changed since then. Sure. Like we have the cloud, we have like LinkedIn and other revenues. It's much more diversified now than before.
Yeah, I agree with that, Kev. I don't think we would see necessarily 13 years of sideways.
Yeah, it's not the same company.
I just want to go on record. My question to Nick wasn't that I think it's going to go on 13 years, and I don't think I wanted to present that Nick did. It was, can you see some similarities that could play out if the trend, which is the 50 or the monthly 50 monthly, right, is going to be breached? Yeah. I think it's a fair point from GP, but 13 years sideways, anything's possible. But that's
so. I think, yes, I don't think that's going to happen to Microsoft because I don't think the bull market's over. That's my bias, right? So I think it'll, by the end of the week or by the end of next week, I think we'll be singing a different tune in Microsoft. You can already see what's happening right now in Meta as they pretend to break it down and it pops, right? Like look at the 5-minute chart. It just popped. I don't know, it's $3-4. Like I think Microsoft ultimately ends up that way. This is just positioning and whatever. But the question has to always remain, when you have these major technical breaks potential, what's your plan, right? And that's the conversation that has to happen, because even if it's a year or 2 years or 5 years, it doesn't have to be 13. Yes, markets are different. So 13 years is probably not possible, but it could be 3 years. Look at Amazon. Well, like it is the clearest example of I haven't done things since Sassy Jassy stepped down.
Like, it's time to pick on me and my holdings now. Okay, I get it. Bring it on.
What Amazon's up 10% since 2020 highs?
Yeah.
That's already 5 years of nothing.
Yeah.
No dividend, nothing, just misery. Right. And now they're saying we're going to spend so much money, it's going to be ridiculous, right?
More money than's ever been spent in the history of money.
Yeah. And so investors are telling you right now that they don't want anything to do with mega caps, because as much as the same investors were telling them to spend their money on everything but buybacks, right? Find growth, find all that stuff. They're like, yeah, I'm out. You're in CapEx here, I'm out. So, and the CapEx year can last multiple years. That's what's the underlying conversation in a lot of these mega caps. And we've talked about it over and over and over again in the last 6 months. Until the mega cap stops selling, the market does this range bound nonsense. So if the mega caps actually accelerate to the downside, this range breaks to the downside. If they stop selling and actually revert to the upside, this market goes apeshit.
Ape shit, eh?
Absolutely. Dude, look at what ARM is doing. Look at what AMD is doing. Look at what CoreWeave is doing. Look at what DocN is doing. By the way, DocN, shout out.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Look at what crypto is doing, which is pretty much nothing because it's the most useless asset on the planet. Until it's not.
Hey, what were all of our picks? Do you guys remember?
Yeah. I had.
What did I do with? I thought I had it on a post-it.
I thought I created a watch list for it. I didn't. I've got them written down here in my notes. I'll get to them.
Yeah, we can get another time.
But no, GP. DocN's been fabulous. ARM is doing great. I think I'm trying to find my tweet so I can say it exactly as it is. But the last time Amazon had such an investment was an investment in AWS. And it took about 3 months after the announcement, so a quarter, took about 3 months after that announcement, then it immediately started seeing appreciation in stock price. And I'm not gonna make the correlation that one is the other. I'm just gonna say sometimes when you see a big scary investment, yes, investors in general, as a rule, and the street does not want to be in quote unquote investment years, but it doesn't always serve as a negative, and it doesn't always play out that way. And since we do have a correlation with Amazon having done this in the past while being it with Bezos and not Sassy Jassy, I'm still thinking that can play out. So yeah, it's more money than's ever been committed to building out infrastructure, but they have the logistics hub and they know everybody's data. If anybody can put that to better use than Amazon, it might be Google, but that's probably about it. I mean, we're hearing a lot of, where's the payoff in all this AI compute and the investment.
This is the same chatter for me as the cloud build out when everything was migrating from servers in the mid 2010s to whatever. Analysts hated it, and afterwards, Amazon proven itself and it took off. Microsoft did the same thing, right? So the infrastructure takes time to build out, but we're seeing the demand. I'm on the side that it's going to work out. There's no stopping this AI revolution, I don't think.
No. I can't find my tweet to give you the exact details.
Jensen is screaming it at the top of his lungs, right? Like he is talking with his money. He is talking with his words. He is literally telling you that you're an idiot, right? Like ultimately.
Well, let's bring it full circle back to CoreWeave now, because we know Daddy Jensen bought in the 80s, right? I think $87 is his price point, and I think that's where we're at right now. So this is not going to be possible to do without companies like CoreWeave, and there are not too many companies like CoreWeave currently. So if this thesis plays out like I believe and like Kevin's saying that he thinks is going to happen, you have to have this piece of the pie in place, and Jensen put his money in it. So that's why I said, why can't I put my money in it too? Nick, are you a believer in CoreWeave yet? Did I sell you?
I like it. I like the chart too. I like the higher low it's putting in. I mean, even if you wanted to, just trade it, off the weekly and kind of use the 69 as your stop or your pivot to trade against. I don't know. It looks good. I like. It's kind of building like a descending channel, and I think with putting in with where price is sitting, putting in a higher low, your area to get aggressive is kind of once it reclaims 100.
Yeah.
And kind of busts that descending channel, probably takes out the 113, 114, and then it's kind of like, hey, this thing's ready to go.
Hey, Kev, last time we got together, you were espousing how much you loved Google. Are you in any of these other hyperscalers, Microsoft obviously, or semi-plays that go along with this AI revolution?
Yeah, I just trimmed some ARM this morning after the huge jump. If you just look across, there's like a resistance, a pretty strong resistance around 164. So I'm already, already trimmed more than half my position there already.
Kev, I've got it for you, brother.
So then there's another resistance around 180. So I'm holding out for a little bit more. Maybe if it goes up there again, I'll trim again. So I'm still holding ARM. Marvell, I trimmed this morning as well after today's jump.
Oh shit, Marvell looks good. Damn,
Yeah.
I don't think I have any.
I got rid of it. Now it's playing ball.
Yeah. And then for the hyperscalers, Google is still my biggest position, but right now I think it's overvalued, and I've just been on every spike almost. I've been selling cover calls against it, and I've been doing pretty well on that. It's kind of breaking the short term support around. Let me see.
Well, you were saying overvalued back in October too, and it's only done 17%, 20% since then. So
yeah, I still think it could stick around, a little bit higher, but it looks like it's kind of turning down. It looks like a little bit of a head and shoulder there, right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. So I think it's the next stop after this is around 250. So
you buying more at 250?
We'll have to see. I don't know.
Hesitation.
I don't know. But I'm long on Microsoft. I think it's good value there. I like Amazon a lot too. I really like the long-term chart on Amazon. You go back to 2000, you can essentially connect the dot-com bubble, 2008.
It's this isn't my standard chart, but it's in a forever channel basically. I could draw a channel top on there if I wanted to, but I don't want to. One other name, Kev, that I've noticed you've been trading that I've trimmed most of my position out of, SoFi.
Yeah.
What got you into SoFi? Why SoFi? What do you like about it now or don't like about it now? I saw you've been playing options on this guy, which has been lucrative.
Yeah, I think it's been making this like making higher highs and higher lows since the bottom in 2023.
Yep.
So if you just draw a zigzag, is essentially doing that. There's a pivot around 1650. So as long as that holds, that could be support. So after this retracement, it's still the stock is still growing a lot. So I like it. Then the CEO came in with his $1 million buy and another $500,000 after that. So I think it could form some support around here. But right now, I've just been harvesting the volatility around it.
I want somebody to have the faith in me that Anthony Noto has in his own stock, because that man is not afraid to shell out the bucks to buy his own stock. I mean, I was trading this down near the lows, Kev, and his buys in this basically $5 to $7 range kept the stock afloat for this entire time.
Yeah.
And to see him come back in I think around the $17 mark. That definitely gave the cult following it has a lot of life because he basically has a buying plan, right? And he couldn't come back in until March, and basically as soon as March opened, he was buying again. So lot of belief there.
I like the setup. If it keeps making this, higher highs and higher lows, I think we can retest the 25s. I mean, break out and go above 30s in a couple years from now.
Hey, you guys want to do? We got like 7 minutes. You guys want to do a chart request or two from the crowd, or you got something else you want to chat about?
Yeah, I'm open to whatever.
The request line is now open. MTSI.
Uptrend.
God, Za, you and Randy just be throwing out these. I'm telling you, man, these two guys, if you guys aren't following AAXAA and Wiggly Ick, you are doing yourself a disservice. That's all I got to say.
Truth.
Kev, first time you're probably looking at MTSI. What do you see? What do you like? Here's the weekly chart.
I don't like buying anything when it's like when it's that high. I don't know what this is, but I don't see any risk reward for me as if I'm looking to enter the stock here. It's just too high for me.
How about you, Nick? You said it looked good.
Yeah, I love it.
What do you like about it?
It's in just a strong uptrend. I like, so if you go out to the monthly and you've got that just a monster cup and handle, beginning back in 2017, kind of based out there at highs pretty much until recently. Getting involved in it now, you're just getting involved in kind of mid-trend. So you are chasing it a bit, but you do have a setup there. You've got a 3-week tight on the rising 10-week, and price kind of took out the pivot high there. So let me just look real quick here. 130 to. Yeah, I mean, you could probably cut. I would be thinking you're going to get a move towards 500. Like, I think this trend is just going to continue. Long-term moving averages are all rising and surpassing. Kind of the real breakout was above 145, I think. So,
anything? Gpaisa?
He's on mute.
It reminds me of Lamb Research.
Oh,
yeah, all right.
From our very first call, Lamb Research.
But I know nothing about this. I'm looking at it for the first time today. It's shown a couple distribution candles. It's starting to push up here, but on very, very little volume here. So take out 258.98 and I'd consider it. But until then, it's hard to buy these in this market. Right?
Hey Nick, I'm gonna pile on you here. I would take the other side of this trade. I wouldn't be with you in it because if this truly was the head and shoulder, the cup and handle that played out, your measured move is to right here where you're topping out, basically.
Sure. I mean that's the one. That's why. I mean the reason I like it is because you're in a trend, and I think the trend can last longer than we generally think that they can. So. Even in this most recent, like looking at the daily, and you're just trying to trade this leg by leg, so you're kind of catching the meat of like a run. Your entry was through 230, right? Like you saw the higher low get put in on Friday, March 20th.
Yep.
And once you saw that candle, you're like, okay, we have a potential higher low getting put in. Kind of looks like a little bit of a double bottomy type thing. So again, like your pivot's 230. I'm just saying, I think you're getting involved.
We threw the massive wet blanket on Za. He can't believe it. He's beside himself. Hey Za, we're wrong. Everybody's wrong, man. Don't take it personally. We love you. We love your picks. Last one from Randy. He said MT. Where'd it go? I just lost it. KNTX. He said Kinetic Holdings. It's oil.
KNTK.
Oh, KNTK? Yeah, KNTK. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. I don't know, Randy. It looks like something I would be into, though. KNTK. Nick, you're up first.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, I think you got like a pretty looking island setup.
Yeah,
I mean,
love that. I love the crossover of the moving averages, bounce off the 9. That's a show of strength, by the way. I would have really liked it to have come down and kissed off that guy right there, but you can't have it your way all the time. So I think it looks pretty good. Kev?
If it breaks, I'm looking at a resistance around 47. So if it breaks up of that, then maybe you can have a play. But you know, that's what I would watch for. I wouldn't just jump in at this right now.
GP, you got anything?
No.
You buying VCX? GP? Come on, just throw a little, just throw a little bit out there. It's at 420.
Dude, I have 542 ways to lose money in this market. VCX is not going to be one of them.
Yeah, you know what? I feel that. So many fucking landmines out there. Why not just throw it at something that ripped from 30 to 400 in a couple days?
Hey, I know we talked about it yesterday. I'm gonna turn the screen off for a sec. I know we talked about it yesterday, but I do got a shout out to Nick and GP. You know, up for the hashtag award of Community Member of the Year. So y'all go vote at hashtag.stocktwits.com. Vote for everybody or anything that you want to vote for. But also, we would love to see you at the New York Stock Exchange on May 4th. So we'll be there at the party. These two guys will hopefully one of them walks away with a title and a prize. But we'll be there hanging out. Kev, you coming? You gonna be there?
I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
It's just down the road for you. Come on.
It is down the road. Yeah, maybe I'll stop by.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody who nominated GP and Nick. Very well deserved. Hopefully, one of our guys comes home with the hardware. But hey, we've got our last word. And as our guest, Kev, I'll leave it to you. LexTrading.
I think during this time when there's just so much volatility, you just got to stick to the higher quality names. You know, it's so hard to predict, you know, which way the wind is going to go on this war. So, and then, but that high quality names like Microsoft and Amazon, they're going to survive it. You know, those are, the cloud names, the infrastructure now are almost national security. So if you're going to buy anything and you want to hold it out, I think those are going to be the names that you want to be in.
My brother from another mother, speaking just like I would try to tell you myself. Nick.
Oh shit! I don't know. Trade them well. I don't know.
Buy them tight, sell them loose.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
GP.
I got 2 quotes for you. First one is, all that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. It's been on my profile many times over the years. Feels very appropriate in this market. I mean, just the world in general. Yeah. And for all the shorts out there who keep shorting this, I am taking the opposite side of Gandhi's quote, eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. I hope you all fuckers go blind.
He wants to put all their eyes out. No, I would just want to second kind of what Kev said for my last word is know what you own, right? And know why you own it. It's one thing to just say, I like this business because X, Y, and Z, but who really has the sustainability? And from a long-term perspective, that's how I look at it. I don't have the time to trade all day. So for me, it's not necessarily passive, but the things I believe in, it's easier for me to commit my capital to. So that's not financial advice. That's just the way we do things. And hey, that's the end of the show. We'll see you next week on Stocktwits Community Ripple Live right here at 1 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. Thanks so much, Lex, for joining us. We appreciate you. And chat, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. See